as John Starks dunked on Jordan and Patrick Ewing dunked on the Pacers, as Bernard King scored 60, as Charles Oakley pulled every rebound within reach.
Zohran Mamdani thought he was being slick. He thought New York Knicks owner James Dolan was asleep as Zorro was giving his speech. And I will give credit to Zohran Mamdani for this one thing. Obviously, I don't support his ongoing destruction of New York City. I don't support Zorro turning New York City into a dump that's only rivaled by the dumps in the People's Republic of California. But credit where credit is due. Zohran Mamdani is an excellent public speaker. Yesterday, there was a celebration in New York City to honor the Knicks. Over the last few weeks, Zohran Mamdani and James Dolan, they have been engaged in a back and forth catfight. They've been blaming each other for shutting down block parties, when the reality is, Zorro should have been less worried about block parties outside of Madison Square Garden and more worried about the flaming ass fire that spread every time the Knicks played a game. If you were a fan of the Spurs, you couldn't walk down the streets of New York City without defending yourself against Captain Doofus. Now, normally, Captain Doofus is approaching you just to ask for some money. But during the NBA Finals, they weren't asking for money. They were ripping off your jersey so they had something to keep them warm during the winter. During his speech, and I think this was intentional, Zorro took another shot at James Dolan by honoring Charles Oakley. Now, for those that don't know, Charles Oakley and James Dolan, they do not like each other. 10 or so years ago, Charles Oakley was kicked out and banned from Madison Square Garden, and he hasn't been invited back since. So Zorro, he takes a subtle shot at James Dolan, who appeared to be sleeping through his speech. I guess Zorro thought he was going to get away with it, but if that was the case, Zohran Mamdani thought wrong. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the main channels in the description below. After Zorro gave his speech, James Dolan, he took his chance to speak to the crowd. Unfortunately for James Dolan, not only is he hated by most of New York City, for years, fans have been begging James Dolan to sell the team. And even with the Knicks winning a championship, James Dolan is still hated by most New Yorkers. And to make matters worse, he's a terrible public speaker. So when he attempted to embarrass Zohran Mamdani, James Dolan only embarrassed himself. However, he was somewhat effective in embarrassing Zorro when he was given a key to the city. Watch it for yourself.
I don't need your vote. I don't need to quote to you, right, about what happened here, and because if you're real Knicks fans, you know it already.
Jim Dolan. Quentin Dolan. Leon Rose.
That brutal speech was the equivalent of being hit with a case of the devastating doodles while you're on a first date. But during the photo op, as Zorro is putting on that fake, inauthentic smile as he hands James Dolan a key to New York City, James Dolan and his son, they look like they wanted to be anywhere else. And who in the hell can blame them? I know Zorro is charismatic. I know he has the ability to fool people who are naive, but Uncle Casey doesn't trust a communist, and I damn sure don't trust an Islamist. I'm sure part of the reason James Dolan has a problem with Zohran Mamdani, Zorro wants to take all of James Dolan's money. Zohran Mamdani has never had a real job, yet he wants to take money from high achievers and give their money to people who produce nothing but toxic ass gas. That being said, I hope the people of New York enjoy this moment because it's not happening again. This was a magical playoff run for the New York Knicks. Even though I'm not a fan of the team, it was fun watching this group the last couple of months. But this Knicks championship run, it was the result of timing, right place, right time. Jason Tatum gets hurt in the first round, can't finish their series against the Sixers, so the Knicks were able to avoid the Celtics. Detroit, who dominated the Knicks all season, they were bounced in the second round in a series they should have won against the Cleveland Quitters. Outside of the Hawks, the Knicks weren't really challenged in the Eastern Conference. They got a depleted Sixers team with Joel Embiid, who could barely move. They had the benefit of playing against James Harden. Then, instead of facing an experienced WWE Thunder, they get a young, inexperienced Spurs team where their inexperience was the reason they lost this series. It was the difference. So, it was fun while it lasted. But I just don't see the Knicks making another run at the NBA Finals next season. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later on the main channel.